Mob Entertainment has been releasing videos covering the stories of past Poppy Playtime chapters in relation to the Chapter 4 ARG, slowly giving us hints until the release of Chapter 4, which has already gotten a teaser trailer and info on their Discord by the time this video has been uploaded. So what are these hints, and where will we be headed in the future from what we already know? Hey everybody, I'm Jeeps, and today we find out the secrets behind Chapter 4's ARG. Now, as I just mentioned, videos have been getting released by Mob Entertainment covering past chapters, and while the developers have been releasing tiny bits of info through their Discord server and social media over time, these videos are one of our primary sources of information aside from the teaser, and whenever you look deeper you could tell something big is beginning to stir up. If you go to Mob Entertainment's YouTube channel where they cover Poppy Playtime content, you could see a recent series of videos called The Story So Far, and as of now there's 3 videos released, one for each chapter. These videos have the voice of Dr. Harley Sawyer speaking to us about the story of Poppy Playtime as we travel through each chapter, but if you pay close attention frame by frame, there's some secrets to uncover here. Starting with the story of Chapter 1, so far we actually get a lot of information. Matter of fact, this is literally when the Chapter 4 ARG was confirmed to have begun, which is confirmed by some flickering letters and numerals around 1 minute and 28 seconds into the video. IV, A, R, and G. For those who don't know, IV being the number 4 in Roman numerals. This is followed by a faint text at the bottom of the screen saying let the game begin. But if you thought that's all there was, try skipping 2 seconds ahead while the screen is still glitched, and boom, we have ourselves our first code. Now there's a ton of different codes that could have been used for this, but this one specifically was written in base 32, and once thrown into a decoder you get the following message: on felted feet and with bated breath, sleep draws ever near. And this would be our very first hint towards what we'll be seeing in Chapter 4. But Chapter 2 tells us even more. Matter of fact, throughout the entire story so far of Chapter 2, we receive multiple codes which can be faintly seen in the video, either hidden behind subtle frames or seen on glitchy monitors. But before we dive into these, let's look at the first frame of the video. And when I say the first frame, I literally mean it. Watch this.
Playtime Pro Security Log 0, 1, 2, 6. Unscheduled transit access in games.
Did you see that? Back up a couple frames and voila, we have our second code. Now in order to code this, it's quite different from entering into base 32. This time we are dealing with something called hexadecimal. Don't know what that is? Well, let me explain. Hexadecimal is a way to count using 16 symbols, 0 to 9 and A to F, where A equals 10 and B might equal 11, and so on and so forth. It's used in computing to make a big number shorter. Essentially, we need to convert these from hex into decimal, and then furthermore into something called ASCII, which is a number format, each set for a group of numbers representing a certain letter or numeral overall. Put them all through the system and you get this message. 11 words, good luck. Now I know you're probably wondering, what does that mean? Well, like I showed you before, there are codes littered through the entire video, and like I said, we need to find the 11 words. So throw these codes into something called a shift cipher, where the letters in the alphabet are essentially shifted a certain amount of letters and you get the following words: am not, paths, turning, of death, but I, over, afraid, and clear. Now it's been debated on what order these words should be placed into, but the community came to a final decision with the sentence being, but I am not afraid of death, over paths, turning clear. So add that to the decipher code from Chapter 1 and we get the following message: on felted feet and with bated breath, sleep draws ever near. But I am not afraid of death, over paths turning clear. Now I know I'm starting to sound like a poetic genius here, but we're not done just yet. We still have one code left to decipher, and it comes from our third and final video, which I'm not even gonna lie, is kinda complicated, but at the same time it's not. Let me explain. At the very end of the video for the story so far of Chapter 3, the screen starts panning out from a monitor, and we hear Dr. Harley Sawyer once again from the previous chapters, but that's not the main focus here. Specifically, between a few frames at 3 minutes and 58 seconds into the video, you could see binary code flash up on the monitor for a split second. Now if you take that binary code and convert it, you actually get a QR code, and once scanned, it will give you the following message seen right here. Yeah, I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. But what does this mean? Well, reverse the message and you get the final string of text saying, for we have already met. Kinda simple, like I said, but it felt a little complicated when I tried figuring it out. So whenever we take everything from all 3 videos, all the codes we deciphered, and put them all together, we actually get the following message: completed. On felted feet and with bated breath, sleep draws ever near. But I am not afraid of death, over paths turning clear, for we have already met. So like I said, what is that even supposed to mean? Well, I have a few theories myself, and it shares a lot with what the community has been saying. You see, when we hear the terms sleep draws ever near or bated breath, it really makes me think of Catnap, since she was literally the main antagonist in the last chapter of Poppy Playtime, and it fits the description. But once I heard the words, but I'm not afraid of death, over paths turning clear, for we have already met, something just didn't sit right with me. Sure, they could be talking about Catnap, but this was our first time meeting him, and he might not even be afraid of death, but what is the importance of that specific line? Why was death involved? Well, one of the bigger theories here is that Huggy Wuggy might not actually be as dead as we thought. And sure, we spoke on this theory in the past, specifically about how there was a trail of blue fur in chapter 2 leading into a vent. But after these recent videos, our suspicions are only getting more and more confirmed, or at least I'd like to believe so. And if you're thinking that there's no way Huggy Wuggy's gone for good, just be reminded and hear me out. For example, in the story so far for chapter 1, Harley Sawyer tells us Huggy Wuggy was sent plummeting into the depths below, but he never tells us what actually happened to Huggy Wuggy, or if he died or not. He never says he died. And in the message we decipher, we get told that this person is not afraid of death, and that we've already met them. So can Huggy Wuggy really be involved with the next chapter? Well, yes and no. What I mean is, there's a few different things swaying my opinion here, but after recent info, I'm really swaying towards one more than the other, so hear me out. Basically, Huggy Wuggy is most likely dead, especially after that type of fall, but from what we've seen and what we know about the prototype, he could have taken Huggy Wuggy in an attempt to build himself, similar to how we saw Catnap and Mommy Longlegs. This is something I've covered several times, but with recent videos that we have at the time of writing this may not even be the case, and it might even explain who attacked Kissy Missy. You see, as of writing this video, it is October 6th, and Mob Entertainment has released new characters known as the Nightmare Critters onto their Discord server, alongside a teaser trailer for the chapter 4 of Poppy Playtime. These critters being the opposites of the joyful smiling critters we all know about. So here's my theory. From what we know about the smiling critters, if there's enough of them, they could take over and possess a body, similar to what happened with Dog Day in chapter 3, and Huggy Wuggy had a super deep fall. So what if somewhere really deep within the facility, Huggy Wuggy was found by these nightmare critters, taken control of, and used to find their way back to the surface where Kissy Missy would be attacked? It would explain the theory behind the smiling critters possibly attacking Kissy Missy, and why it sounded like a huge monster attacking her, sounding similar to Huggy Wuggy. This really is a huge shot in the dark, but it seems like that's what I do best. Considering the new info we have and what we've been told in the past, this is a viewpoint that could possibly make sense. But you tell me, what do you think? And what are your theories? Tell me in the comments below. Anyways, I'll be doing my best to get this video out, and I'll be covering the Nightmare Critters in my next video. As always, thank you for watching, I'm Jeeps, and I'll see you in the next video.